All right, you guys, breaking news coming out. Things are escalating with the conflicts going on around the world. Take a look at the latest headlines coming out. I'm going to share with you what's coming out with World War III warnings as the war in Ukraine is about to become World War III. It says two global alliances may soon be directly engaged against each other, as we're hearing that nations are unifying, nations rising against nations in a global conflict. And take a look at this. Let me know if you agree. Jamie Dimon worries World War III has already begun. Do you agree with Jamie Dimon? If so, put yes. If no, put no. But we're hearing that it has already started. In the previous wars, they said that they actually said when it happened after the wars were completed. So we might already be in the middle of this. A lot of people saying they agree that World War III is not coming. It's already here. And take a look at this, you guys. Kim Jong-un to send Putin 12,000 soldiers, South Korea says. Now, I had shared this with you. The U.S. warns that they will be fair game in the war, and we're hearing that this has been confirmed now. Take a look. U.S. confirms North Korean troops are in Russia. What it means for the war in Ukraine. This article coming out yesterday. And take a look. This coming out today, a new update. The first units, they have been spotted in Kursk region. Intelligence tells how and where Russia is training the DPRK troops for war in Ukraine. And we're hearing that, take a look at this as well. Russia deploying strategic nuclear forces as regular infantry in Ukraine. Now, at first, when you see this, you might think to yourself, oh man, Russia's deploying strategic nuclear forces, but they're actually deploying them as regular infantry, as we're hearing that Russia is running short on military. So this is not what you think, but this is. Take a look at this one. China is enlarging its nuclear forces with its eyes on America. U.S. intel says they are warning the United States right now of the nuclear threat coming from China. So the U.S. right now, they're saying to be on the lookout for what is going to be coming here, as we're hearing that things are escalating significantly. Nations are rising against nations. I'm going to be sharing with you the latest as we're hearing that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, they're unifying, posing nuclear threats to the United States, Israel, NATO, Taiwan, South Korea, and Ukraine. So these are the sides that are being drawn. We're hearing that things are escalating significantly, and I'm going to be sharing with you the latest on this as it's being confirmed by the United States. These threats are real and rising right now. And we're also hearing that they are saying World War III has already begun. They're saying that if we go back to the history books, they might say World War III started in 2022 when Russia first launched its attacks on Ukraine, or it might be on October 7th of 2023 when it was that Hamas crossed over into Israel. But we're hearing that a lot of people are saying that this is just escalating and escalating, and that World War III, it has already begun. Now sides are being drawn, and there's more rhetoric of nuclear potential attacks. And if you missed my video earlier today, you're not going to want to miss it. I just shared with you that we heard that overnight there was an attack on a nuclear facility. They were saying it was an Israeli terror attack on a nuclear facility in Iran. However, there was several different opinions coming out on this. We know that it was on fire, but we don't know what the cause or where it came from. I had some people saying they thought it was Israel doing a covert operation. Some people saying no, it was just a fire that took place, and others saying a false flag by Iran, doing it themselves and then accusing Israel, giving them another reason to launch forward into the conflict in the Middle East. And the United States, as I've shared with you, in the middle of all of these conflicts that are taking place. So I'm going to get you caught up on the latest, and I'm going to share with you video footage coming out on this, as well as we're hearing North Korea and Russia, they are unifying, and China is issuing threats to the U.S., and China, we're hearing, is also supporting Russia, and Russia is supporting Iran. We are seeing all of them linked together, our adversaries unifying, and also our allies as well, as things are intensifying around the world with global conflict, and they're saying World War III is already here. I'm going to share with you the video footage in the articles. They're going to be linked in the description below. As always, I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it, so that way you can see it for yourself and know that it is the latest. Now, do me a favor, if you appreciate that, take a second, hit that like button for me. I see we've got almost 2,000 people live with me in the room. If we got 50 more likes, that would be 500 likes. That would be awesome. Just help spread this out further so more people can get the latest updates. In addition to that, join the newsletter, www.steveramnews.com, to stay up to date off of social media platforms, as we've heard warnings about social media platforms going down from cyber attacks. that could be hitting U.S. infrastructure critical systems. Also, additional resources down below for you as well. And Evangelist Nathan, thank you for the $2 super chat. He says, Jesus Christ is Lord. We have nothing to fear. Amen, Evangelist Nathan. Thank you for the $2 super chat and the words of positivity and encouragement. Right now, I think that is something we must remember. I personally am a believer, and those words mean a lot to me, so thank you for that, and I pray for those as well around the world. And for our believers, I say to you, pray and be prepared. Stay ready. So yeah, hit that like button, subscribe. We've got over 2,000 people in the room. Thank you for all of the contributions and the support. Man, I see Kenneth Fernandez is in the house. MC Checks, official page. You the man, Steve. Keep it up. Thank you for the kind words. Daniel Willis with the Trump emoji that you get when you become a member and you hit that join button for the monthly contributions. Not necessary, but greatly appreciated. And as a result, all of these articles I'm referencing will pop up in your YouTube feed. Rob Harper, thank you for the $2 super chat. Thank you for your generosity. I will continue to keep you guys up to date on everything. But let's go ahead and start off with some video footage so that way you can see it. This coming out today, October the 24th, Thursday, as the United States has confirmed that they are now seeing North Korean troops, verifying them with photo recognition imagery on the front lines of Russia fighting against Ukraine. Adam McCosker, thank you for the 99-cent super chat. Appreciate that a ton. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Now do me a favor, as soon as I start it up, let me know if you can hear and the audio okay for the video by dropping a 5x5 so I know that it's coming through okay as I'm switching the microphones. Julia Bratcher, $100 super chat. Wow, thank you so much for your generosity. She says, Jesus is coming. Amen to that, and thank you for the generosity. I appreciate that a ton. I'm humbled. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything, and amen to your words. Jesus is coming. People, get ready. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage, and I'm going to go ahead and switch it, and as soon as you hear it playing, if you hear it okay, drop a 5x5 for me.
The U.S. has confirmed North Korea has sent troops to Russia in what could mark a major escalation of Russia's war in Ukraine. While it's not entirely known what the troops are doing or why they are there, the involvement of North Korean troops would solidify a growing alliance between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. Both signed a pact in June that included a pledge of mutual defense. The U.S. Defense Secretary calling it a serious issue. Let's go to Matt Botner live now in London. Good morning, Matt.
Francis, good morning. Secretary of Defense Austin's confirmation yesterday that the United States now has its own information confirming the presence of North Korean troops in Russia is a significant development, as it may force Western allies to take this a little bit more seriously. North Korean intelligence estimates show that 30,000 North Korean troops are now in Russia, and that 10,000 total may have been promised to the Kremlin to reinforce Russian positions against Ukraine. They also say that these forces were transported to Russia on vessels from Russia's Pacific Fleet that is based in Vladivostok on the eastern coast. These North Korean troops have been issued Russian uniforms and rifles. That is according to the South Korean spy agency. That agency told NBC News yesterday that they actually used AI facial recognition to identify one known North Korean serviceman who is in Ukraine. He was seen in a photo next to a North Korean missile launcher in occupied Donetsk region. This soldier is known to the South Korean intel service after he actually appeared in a photo last year on a tour of a weapons factory in North Korea with Kim Jong-un himself. Already, the North Koreans are supplying Russia with various types of weapons, including wildly inaccurate ballistic missiles that they're using to terrorize Ukrainian civilians in their homes every single night. It's still unclear specifically how Russia may hope to use these troops, but Ukrainian and Western officials suggest that a likely deployment would be to reinforce Russian positions in Russia's Kursk region. That, of course, is territory that was seized by Ukrainian forces back in August. Russia has so far failed to push Ukraine off of its territory in Kursk. The North Koreans, it seems, could be there to help with that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news.
There you have it, you guys. So that is the information coming out. We're hearing that they have confirmed with AI facial recognition that they are sending over North Korean troops to Ukraine to go help out. And we're hearing that this, or excuse me, to Russia to go help out against Ukraine. And we're hearing that this is likely going to be becoming a world war as global alliances are being made directly as they are engaging. They are seeing those troops over there. They are helping each other out. And they're saying that they need additional active military because Russia is running low with what is going on right now with the current war. They're getting financial assistance from China, and they're also getting now military assistance from North Korea. So our adversaries are unifying, helping each other out. And let's go ahead and take a look at the latest articles for you, so that way you can see it for yourself. I'm going to be referencing these, and all of these are linked in the description below. The majority of these, if not all of them, coming out in the last 24 hours. And again, if you appreciate the updates, you guys, do me a quick favor, hit the like button, subscribe if this is your first time here, and let's go ahead and take a look at these so that way you can see it for yourself. Now, Jamie Dimon, a lot of people saying they agree with him on this one. He is saying World War III has already begun. We've heard this, that previous world wars, that there is no official announcement before the war begins, that they just say that after, when the history books are written, that they will determine when it started. And they're saying that a lot of people are estimating that we're already in it right now. World War III might have started in 2022 with Russia, Ukraine, or October 7th, 2023 with Israel and Hamas. Now, this article says, we run scenarios that would shock you, the banker warns. Now, the article says that Jamie Dimon typically pays close attention to the workings of financial markets and the Federal Reserve, but today his most important concern is geopolitics. The economic outlook is teeny compared to the geopolitical situation that we face, he told an audience Thursday today at the Institute of International Finance's annual meeting in Washington, D.C. He lamented that the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East and the growing cooperation between the United States adversaries, including Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, these are the adversaries that we are looking at right now. They are clearly talking about dismantling the system set in place by the United States and its allies after World War II, which Dimon credits as spawning an era of unprecedented global economic growth. And we just saw that BRICS meeting that came out, Vladimir Putin leading that. There was actually cyber attacks, we're hearing, that took place against them while they were in that BRICS meeting. And we heard that Putin is positioning himself as the leader of this movement. We're hearing that Vladimir Putin is coming out and saying he is the main one that is calling the charges. So on one end, we essentially have the United States leading, and on the other, Russia. Marie Bonner, thank you for the $2 super chat. Amazon has emergency food sources waiting. Jesus. Amen to that. And yes, additional Amazon resources linked down in the description below for anybody that is interested. Now, the article says he lamented that the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East and the growing cooperation between the U.S. adversaries, including Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran, they are clearly talking about dismantling the systems set in place by the United States and its allies back in World War II. The risk is extraordinary, he said. World War III has already begun. You already have battles on the ground and being coordinated in multiple countries at this time. And again, let me know in the comments, do you agree with Jamie Dimon? World War III, it's already started. It's not something that's coming. It's already here. And we've already heard, I let you know, the warnings coming out from Israel, the retaliation that is going to be coming. If you missed it in my video earlier today, they said it is not going to be the end of the war. It is going to be the start of the war, that it will be the beginnings of several phases of retaliation that will take place. Israel is actually changing their economy right now, their budgets for military, and they're saying they're preparing for a long, drawn-out war that is going to be lasting for quite some time. Now, he said that the risk management teams at his bank have run scenarios that will shock you in terms of the possible economic implications of a global conflict that spirals out of control. That's one reason why JP Morgan Chase & Co. chief executive said Thursday today that nuclear proliferation is the biggest risk that mankind faces at this time, even ahead of climate change, he said. So, Jamie Dimon, we're hearing he is, as you know, Democrat left supporter. He has vocalized that he is supporting Kamala Harris in her campaign, but he's saying that right now World War III is more of an existential threat to us than even climate change, which he is saying is a major concern. So even Jamie Dimon coming out and saying that right now World War III is here. It is a serious issue, and it is something that we need to think seriously about and prepare for, because it is upon us at this time. Now, this comes as I had shared with you, we had heard rumors suggesting that North Korea was sending over troops. We had heard North Korea denying it. Now we're hearing it has been confirmed. Take a look. I shared with you the video footage just a little while ago, but here's an article coming out that says, first units spotted in Kursk region. Intelligence tells how and where Russia is training the DPRK troops for war in Ukraine. And you can see this coming out today, October 24th, 2024, Thursday at 2100 hours. Now, the first units of military personnel from North Korea who have been drilled at Russian training grounds, they have already arrived in the combat zone of Russia-Ukraine's war. In particular, on October 23rd, yesterday, they were recorded in Kursk's region. The Defense Intelligence of Ukraine reports, according to the intelligence, the DPRK military is being trained at 5 military training grounds in Russia. Bardavansky and these other cities, I'm not going to try to pronounce them. All of these locations. According to the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine, the number of North Korean troops deployed to Russia is currently around 12,000, including 500 officers, including 3 generals. The soldiers sent by Pyongyang are provided with ammunition, bedding, winter clothing, and footwear, as well as hygiene. In particular, according to the established norms, Moscow will allocate 50 meters of toilet paper and 300 grams of soap to each North Korean soldier on a monthly basis, the DIU said. The intelligence service added that several weeks are allocated for the coordination of the North Korean military, which Russia intends to use in war against Ukraine. Russian Deputy Defense Minister Yunisbek Yevkuro has been appointed responsible for training and adaptation of the DPRK troops. So this has been confirmed. It is taking place. We are seeing the unification of North Korea and Russia, our adversaries, and we also know that China is in the middle of this as well. Now, they are doing this in Russia with North Korea because, as I mentioned to you, Russia is actually deploying their strategic nuclear forces infantry in Ukraine, and this is not because, they talk a lot about having nuclear threats and nuclear warnings, nuclear war, but they're actually doing this because they're running short on soldiers is the primary reason why they're doing this at this time. Take a look at this article that came out. It says, Moscow is deploying soldiers from its strategic missile forces who typically specialize in the operation of nuclear weaponry to Ukraine. The deployment comes as Russia faces dwindling troops in its offensive against its neighbors. The soldiers are expected to serve as infantry in Russia's invasion, according to a Ukrainian media outlet that covers the military. Now, the units were formed in late summer this year and deployed to combat, the outlet reported. The report added that the units likely did not involve specialists directly responsible for the use of nuclear weaponry, but support personnel, citing a Russia activist group that outfitted the newly formed unit with equipment for the war. Now, the individual reported that the unit was given civilian Chinese radio stations as it had not been provided with necessary means of communication. So they're saying that they're actually sending over nuclear specialists to fight in the war not because they're preparing for nuclear war at this time, but because they're running so short on personnel. Russia's deployment of members of its strategic missile forces to bolster its war efforts come amid reports citing data from Ukraine's Ministry of Defense of heavy single-day losses. Both Russia and Ukraine have been facing serious problems with personnel numbers. Research fellows in National Security of the Council of Geostrategy think tank said previously, telling Newsweek. Now, one that we are hearing that there is concern about is the threats that are coming out from China right now. And I had shared with you that we have received warnings here in the United States of cyber attacks hitting our critical infrastructure systems when it is that China says that they are ready to attack Taiwan. We've been hearing these warnings for well over a year now from the United States, from the Pentagon, from the FBI. They're all warning about Volt Typhoon and their compromising of our critical infrastructure systems. Now, we had heard that this could unfold, they said, likely sometime before the year 2027. So we were told that we might have had a couple of years. However, now we're hearing that I think it was last week, if I remember correctly, China came out and announced to its military to prepare for war. This was their literal words that they used, and they are doing war drills right now, encircling Taiwan. Taiwan very unhappy with this, saying these are very provocative acts of aggression. And we're hearing that war could be starting up here very soon, and the United States will be right in the middle of this. All these conflicts taking place, the U.S. is a part of all of these. And we've actually heard this could be a strategy of the enemy. All of our adversaries, Iran, China, North Korea, Russia, starting wars simultaneously to then spread thin the resources of the United States as well. So teaming up, knowing this, they're all starting these conflicts simultaneously. And now we're hearing, take a look at this latest headline coming out, that China is enlarging nuclear forces with their eye on America, U.S. intel says, and this coming out again today in just the past couple of hours. This article says a new U.S. government report this week shared updates, estimates about China's nuclear buildup, linking it directly to Beijing competing with the United States. Now, the report, the second of its kind since 2018, was released on Tuesday by the Defense Intelligence Agency, or the DIA, which operates under the Department of Defense. It also covers the nuclear programs of U.S. adversaries Russia, North Korea, and Iran, which is not known to have yet developed a warhead. China, under President Xi Jinping, has dramatically built on its nuclear stockpile and conventional forces. Now, in August, Xi reiterated his intention to build the People's Liberation Army into a world-class military, calling it a strategic task in the forming a modern socialist China. China is undergoing the most rapid expansion and ambitious modernization of its nuclear forces in history, almost certainly driven by an aim for enduring strategic competition with the United States and a goal to actualize intensified strategic concepts that have existed for decades but are now being realized, the report said. The DIA estimates that China has more than doubled its Operation Nuclear Warheads since 2018, and they are now believed to exceed 500 warheads. While China is still believed to have only a fraction of the thousands of such weapons that Russia and the United States each possess, the DIA expects that China's warhead count will again more than double by the year 2030, a forecast that is aligned with estimates from the Pentagon's 2030 report on Chinese military power. To support its rising nuclear delivery capabilities, China has embarked on the work of building hundreds of silos per the DIA. Now, China's military rocket force, which oversees the country's nuclear weapons, is developing ever more capable ICBMs to bolster its vast missile fleet. This will require increased nuclear warhead production for multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle capabilities and general force growth, the report noted. The rocket force continues to produce road mobile missiles, such as Dongfeng 26, which is capable of both conventional and nuclear strikes on targets as far as U.S. military bases on Guam, per the DIA. Further reinforcing China's nuclear triad are the two Jin-class nuclear submarines that entered service in 2020, capable of being outfitted with nuclear missiles during wartime, and the H-6N bomber, a heavily redesigned version of the Jian H-6 that can be refueled mid-flight and fire cruise missiles as well. So China is preparing, stocking up, and I shared with you that we had heard that back in March of 2024, the Biden administration had determined that it was time for the United States to change their nuclear strategy as a result of the speed at which our adversaries were moving on their nuclear strategies. Now, he changed that back in March, specifically concerned with China. And we heard that that was divulged. It was shared back in August of 2024. So roughly about, 5-6 months later. And what we're hearing is that when that came out, China was very unhappy, called the United States the existential threat to the world regarding nuclear weapons, and calling them hypocrites, that they are changing their strategies, yet at the same time trying to hold other nations accountable for theirs. So right now we're hearing that this is escalating with China and the United States, and China has got their eyes set on competing with the United States, and they are advancing in their nuclear fleets and in their economy at this time. And like I shared with you, we are hearing right now the reports coming out that World War III is upon us. They're saying the conflict in Ukraine and Russia is about to become World War III as global alliances are being formed. And let me know again if you agree or not with Jamie Dimon, who came out and said today, October the 24th, this Thursday, he said World War III is already here. It's already begun. He said that we run scenarios that shock you. And what they're saying is that, yes, it appears that the time has come that we are in World War III right now, that it has already started. Let me know your thoughts. This might be the announcement that a lot of people have been waiting for. People are saying that they're waiting for some sort of official World War III announcement, but this might be as close as we're going to get until after the war, and then they'll decide when it actually took place. Let me know your thoughts. And I see that Sentinel Tech is saying South Korea is thinking of joining as well. Yes, that's actually the threats, the warnings that we've been receiving. I shared with you the past couple days, South Korea coming out and saying, hey, if Russia and North Korea are doing it, why can't us in Ukraine? And they're threatening to send over arms and support one for another. So sides are definitely being drawn at this time. North Korea versus South Korea, Russia versus Ukraine, Israel versus Iran, China versus Taiwan, and the United States right in the middle of all of this. So things are escalating and quickly as we're hearing that World War III is upon us. And I see Elmer saying that they are in the Philippines and saying, yes, World War III has already begun. Yes, that is what we're hearing. But like I said, we will see because things are escalating. I will continue to keep you up to date on everything, and I will cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it. And again, if you appreciate that, do me a quick favor. If you haven't done so yet, I see we got 2,700 people live with me in the room. Take a second, hit the like button. Literally 30 more likes, we'll have 1,500. Excuse me. It just helps spread this out further so that way more people can get the latest updates. Subscribe to stay up to date if this is your first time here. And all of these articles linked in the description below. Is Iran's nuclear tower hit, says Gary. Yeah, Gary, so if you missed my last video, I covered it for you that we had heard that there was a hit, they believe, on a nuclear facility in Iran overnight. Now, that particular hit, they're saying, was a fire that was taking place at the nuclear facility. So very, very concerning, yet they believe that it was just a fire. I haven't seen any more updates on it other than there was accusations that this was a terror attack from Israel, while Israel is planning its retaliatory attack from October 1st. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Was this Israel doing a covert undercover operation by night to light their nuclear facility on fire? If you believe so, put a 1. If you think no, it was just a fire, put a 2. Or we heard people say that it was a false flag by Iran, that they actually lit their own facility on fire. Notice no damage to the actual nuclear plant. And they're saying that they're going to use this as a false flag to say that it was Israel and then justify more attacks against them. If you believe that, put a 3. Let me know your thoughts. 1, if it was Israel. 2, if it just happened to happen. And 3, if it's actually Iran doing a false flag. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I shared with you the actual video footage this morning of that taking place overnight. So yeah, that is going on. And we're also hearing, if you missed it, that Israel is changing their entire strategy due to the U.S. intel leak that took place for their retaliatory attack plans. That leak, they're saying, really messed things up for them. They said that even though it didn't divulge specifics, they're concerned now that Iran will start preparing for the assets that they were planning to hit. So they said they're changing the entire strategy. They're changing the time frame. So before it was they were going to attack before the U.S. elections. They were not going to have it interfere. Now we're hearing that's going out the window. And also Israel is saying, we're not going to be sharing anything with you, the United States. We can't share any intel with you because you've got leaks. And so we can't give you the information. So I'll just be sure to share with you guys as the info comes out. But at this time, it's very unlikely we're going to hear the details of what's going to unfold before it happens. But like I said, as things come out, I'll be sure to share. Joe Biden's right ball. Thank you for the $5 super chat. So when do we start breaking out the secret equipment that the rest of the world doesn't know that we have? Great question, Joe. We will see. I will keep you up to date. But, who's to say that some of the things aren't taking place and they just don't share it with us? I think there's so much, and I think most people would agree, that they have going on with, military equipment and secrets and capabilities and this and that, and they just don't share it with the public at all. So we will see. And I see a lot of threes still pouring in, people saying that this is an Iranian false flag that took place, as we saw overnight, that fire at the nuclear facility in Iran. And again, now that Israel is saying they're changing up the entire war plan strategy as a result of the leak, who's to say that nuclear facilities are no longer back on the table? We had heard them tell the United States we weren't going to hit it. Israel had received warnings from Russia and the United States not to hit Iranian nuclear facilities, but now it might be game again, because Israel is saying that they have to change their strategy as a result of the leak that took place. So it could be that. We could also see them hit those oil facilities, or it could be, again, military assets and military leaders, which is what we had originally heard from Israel. But now we will see. And I will keep you guys up to speed on whatever unfolds here. But things are certainly escalating and fast. And we're hearing that sides are being drawn, and it does appear like it is global conflict. Nations siding with nations against other nations, sharing resources, weapons, even troops now. And a lot of the rumors that I've been sharing with you, it turns out they're starting to be true. We had heard rumors that North Korea was doing this, rumors that North Korean troops were fleeing the front lines of Russia to escape the communist nation of North Korea, saying this was their only chance. But we could not confirm it. Now it is being confirmed. So it's incredible, very shocking that a lot of the reports that are coming out that we're hearing are rumors, they're turning out to be very true and accurate. Now, when things are not verified, if they're just rumors, I will report them to you and let you know. This is not yet confirmed, but once it is, I will be sure to let you know. Joe Biden's right ball. Thank you for the $5 super chat again. I personally think that it's a false flag trying to goat Biden into doing something stupid. It could be. However, let me know your thoughts on this. We've heard the Biden administration right now, with their current policies, with the conflicts around the world, they are seeking ceasefire, peace agreements with Israel and Iran. Now we're hearing that for Ukraine and Russia, the Biden administration is just continually pouring more funds into it. But we are seeing Anthony Blinken, I think it was just yesterday, if I remember correctly, meeting up with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and discussing with him, hey, is there any means by which we can form a truce, a ceasefire agreement in Gaza and Lebanon, so that way we can pull back the fighting? And they also warned Israel that, hey, when you retaliate, please decrease the intensity, because Iran is going to hold you accountable and us as well. And we heard that the response from Benjamin Netanyahu was this: Israel is at war. When are you going to realize that there is no peace agreement? There is no truce. There is no ceasefire deal. We've already tried diplomacy. It's not working. We're in war. United States, get on board. And Israel vocalized this, that whoever is the winner of the presidential elections for the United States is going to be determining the future of war here. They said that if it's the Biden administration continuation with Kamala Harris and the same policies are set in place, that you can expect this war to go for a very long time. But they said that if the Trump administration gets in, that if the United States and Israel unify, that they can literally wipe out Iran in just a matter of days. And so they are saying, hey, U.S., get on board. This is war. Stop trying to, push us towards peace agreements, diplomacy. It's not happening. And also, in the video earlier today, I shared with you that in Iran on Tuesday, we're hearing they erected a mural. And on this mural, it had all the faces of the hostages, and it said no hostages will ever be released. So a lot of people speculating that after the death of Yahya Sinwar, that all the hostages might have been executed. Now, the reason for this is because there was a rumor, it's not verified, but there was a rumor that Yahya Sinwar, before he was eliminated, he had given an order that if his life was taken, that all the lives of the hostages were to be taken as well. And now with Iran on Tuesday coming out and lifting up that mural saying that no hostages will be released ever, It makes a lot of people think that their lives were taken after Yahya Sinwar was eliminated. Now, we cannot verify this. It is not yet for sure that that is what has taken place. But what we're hearing is that if that is in fact the case, what does that mean for the conflict in the Middle East? As right now we heard that Israel has said there are three main objectives for their fighting. The first is to make sure that they eradicate the threat against the nation of Israel, which is all of these proxy groups. They're not stopping until they wipe them out. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis. Second, get back those hostages. And if the hostages have been eliminated, what does that mean for this conflict? And number three is to make sure that they can get all of those individuals that have been removed from their homes due to the conflict on the borders in the north back to where they can all peacefully live in their homes again. Now, if all of the hostages that they have been fighting for this entire time, we've heard Israel vocalize, if you want to see a ceasefire, give us the hostages. Now, if they have all been eliminated, well, then it would be my guess that Israel is not stopping at all. They're moving forward and they're going to eliminate everybody that they think is a threat. And my thought would be that we are just going to be going into deeper conflict in the war. Let me know if you agree in the comments. And a lot of people, I asked the question, do you think that this happened? Do you think that the hostages, that they have been eliminated as a result of the passing of Yahya Sinwar? A lot of people saying that mural in Iran that's saying no hostages will ever be released is confirmation, but we will see. Let me know. Do you think that they are still with us, or do you think they are no longer with us? And what does that mean for the conflict? I think it means war is about to escalate, and that is exactly what we have been hearing Israel say. Israel has been saying, this is the beginning of a long, drawn-out war. This is not the end. This is just starting. Where we are at after a year, this is just the beginning. And the retaliation that they are about to unleash on Iran, they said, is the first of several phases of what is to come. And they said even this first retaliation, initially, now this might have changed, as I mentioned, they've changed their strategic plan, but they said this first one would be three things. It would be powerful, it would be precise, and they also said it would shock the world, and Iran would not even know what it was that hit them. So they were saying they were planning to unleash something that had never been done before. But now we will see, because we're hearing that all could be changing along with the time frame. But regardless, it looks like war is escalating, the conflicts are growing, and things are not slowing down by any means. And now we're hearing that sides are being drawn. So we will see. I will keep you guys up to date. Now, do me a favor. I see we got 2,700 people live with me. Take a second, hit the like button. If you haven't done so yet, helps spread this out further so more people can get the latest updates. Literally need 4 more likes. We'll have 1,900. Just helps out the channel a ton. Hit subscribe to stay up to date if this is your first time here and you want to stay up to speed on everything that's going on. It's totally free. Why not? And also, all the articles are linked down in the description below so that way you can see them for yourself. Sean, thank you for the $5 super chat. I don't remember anyone trying to stop us after 9/11. Great comment, Sean. Yes, I've heard a lot of people say this. A lot of people saying, what would happen if, say, Mexico came across and there was a terrorist group and they did what happened to Israel to us? Would anybody be trying to hold back the United States? Would anybody be saying, hey, de-escalate your retaliation, come to a ceasefire agreement? A lot of people saying if the tables were turned, that the United States would be livid and that it would be all-out war. It would be on. So great comment there, Sean. I appreciate that thought. And I saw a lot of people saying that they agree with Donald Trump. If you agree with Donald Trump that Israel should have the right to push forward, to defend themselves, and he even said, just go for the nuclear facilities. Why not? It's an existential threat to not only Israel, but the United States, as Iran has been shouting death to Israel, death to the U.S. Let them go for it. If you agree with Donald Trump, drop a 45. But if you agree with the Biden policies right now, which are ceasefire, no, let's de-escalate the situation. And this will be, we're hearing the same policies that will come forward with a Harris campaign, put a 46. So who do you agree with? Supporting Israel, pushing forward in that war, in that conflict, wiping out Iran, put a 45 for Donald Trump. If you think no, ceasefire now, put a 46. And I see those 45s for Donald Trump pouring in. People are saying, I see somebody saying, I agree with Bibi Netanyahu. Righteous for Jesus says, the closer we come to the end, the greater the demons are becoming. 45s pouring in. Yep, and don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, Colvina Sewell, thank you for the supporting the channel, hitting that join button. If you have not done so yet, make sure to get out and vote and make sure that your voice is heard. We're hearing the warnings. Get in and vote before the elections, before November 5th. Make sure that your voice is heard. A lot of warnings about attacks coming on election day, physical and cyber attacks, and a lot of issues coming as we get closer to our elections. So please get out there, go vote early. We're hearing we're smashing records in various states. Keep it up. Keep it up. Steve, please promote Rosary. Rosary? I'm not sure who that is. But I just shouted him out right now. Jeffrey Michael says, what's happening, Steve? How's it going? Just getting you guys caught up on the latest. And like I said, all these articles are linked in the description for you, so that way you can read them for yourself. Share them out with friends and family. That way they can know what's going on. I can't tell you how many people have told me, like on various platforms, that they're watching these updates and then they'll tell family what's going on or friends and they have no idea. Let me know if you've experienced that. If you have friends and family and they just are totally clueless to what's going on in the world, and then they say they don't believe them. And then they ask me for the sources and I let them know, oh, it's linked in the description. If you have experienced that with family, drop a 5. Friends or family where you try to share with them what's going on and they've got no idea, drop a 5. But if everybody you've talked to pretty much is in the know in your circles, put a 6. I'd be curious to see. But if you've got people like that, feel free to share out these videos, the articles. I try to provide all the resources so that way people can know. I believe that knowledge is power. So just us knowing what's taking place is half of the battle. So I want to make sure that people know what's going on. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of 5s pouring in. People saying maybe people at work, friends, family, have no idea that a lot of this stuff is taking place. I'm seeing a couple 6s here of people saying no. Everybody in their circles are aware of what's going on. The vast majority of the people in my circles know what's going on because I'm constantly every day checking on this. And then people come talk to me at church and all these different places. And, you know, we have discussions about what's taking place. And I think it's... it's crazy times we live in. It's really hard for me to imagine not being glued to the news right now and trying to see what's taking place. And then I just try to do my best to make sure I can keep everybody up to date here on the channel as well. But I'm seeing a lot of 5s and a couple of 6s. A lot of 6s as well. I've seen somebody say, I watch a lot of stuff like this too much. Yeah, but as I say here on the channel, don't be scared, be prepared. And knowledge is power. Us knowing what's taking place is just half of the battle right there, is just being aware of what is going on. So like I said, though, you guys, I will continue to keep you up to speed on everything. I'll let you know everything that's going on. I'll cite the sources, put it on the screen. We are going to be seeing a retaliation coming from Israel and Iran. That war is just starting. There will be escalation. Israel is beckoning to the United States to get on board, and we are seeing North Korea and Ukraine joining in hands, joining their troops together in war against Ukraine. Russia and North Korea, are the ones joining together. Ukraine and South Korea saying they're going to be coming together, and China is threatening Taiwan and the United States. So things are escalating and quickly. But I will continue to keep you guys up to speed on everything. That is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all the support. I see that we've got almost 2,200 likes, just 5 more. Absolutely incredible. And also the super chats. Thank you for those, you guys. Absolutely amazing. Julia Bratcher, thank you for that $100 super chat. I appreciate that a ton. And I will continue to keep you guys up to speed on everything. So hit that like button if you haven't done so yet. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care, you guys. God bless. This is Steve.